Welcome to Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
And I'm Brittleknee.
BK is back for 221. Thanks for hanging out with us again.
Thanks for having me again.
This is at 221. I think I said that, but yeah, here we are.
It's cool because last one was 211 and isn't 21 your thing? So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, 221. Very fun, and it's our New Year's one. Big shout out to all of our patrons. Thanks so much for your support. We love your faces. We'll get to New Year's in a minute, but patrons are more important. Thank you for your support. Patreon gets you access to After Dark. It's our podcast after the podcast, where we just continue the chatter. BK, you gonna join us this week?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you are. Sweet.
Right on.
Thanks, patrons. We love your faces, and everybody who resubbed up this week. I said it's a Happy New Year episode, right, Ty?
You did. That's basically the same thing as wishing everyone well and saying Happy New Year. It means the same thing. It's New Year's episode, and we have nothing special planned for New Year's. That basically means I love you and thank you.
Yeah.
It's a special episode because we said 3 extra words.
We planned a BK episode for New Year way back when we started.
It's true.
Yeah.
With the first one, we're like 221's going to line up perfectly.
Yep. We knew it. Anyway.
Yep.
Here we
the
are.
Long play.
Happy New Year's and all that stuff. Hopefully everybody had a good Christmas holiday. I don't know. People are probably still off until for a little bit longer. Maybe school. I know our kids are.
Hopefully.
I forgot the kids got 2 weeks. I don't know why, but so this week I'm like getting my kids ready to
You're back.
Get back to school, and they got another week.
I know.
I love
it's
having them
long.
around, so it wasn't like bad news or anything, but I was like, 2 weeks?
Because don't they still have next week all off?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All this coming week. They go back to school March 1st.
Yeah, really.
The dichotomy of dads. Ty is like, yeah, I love it. I love having the kids home. And Justin's like, fuck.
Go
They're
back.
not. Go away.
Yep, that's pretty much the case. How's life, BK? How's your, I don't know, Christmas stuff, New Year's plans? What's new in life?
Not a lot of plans. My family kind of is all over the place. Like my mom and dad and my one brother over in Texas. The other brother, like they went over to Germany to see my sister-in-law side of the family, and my uncle and all of them were up in DC seeing his stepson. So it was like kind of everyone was just scattered to the wind. So Christmas for me was real chill. I just kind of like took it easy, played some video games, made some food I enjoy.
Nice.
Good for you.
And just had a real nice and easygoing time.
Cool. That's nice. What's new in life?
Well, I will be moving to Colorado in
2
to 3 weeks time.
That's exciting.
Hell yeah.
It's finally happening. That's awesome.
Yeah. After the shit show that has been this year since March, it feels really good to finally have something working out.
Yeah, right. That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I just can't stand being here in Florida anymore, so I'm really excited to get the fuck out.
So 2 weeks you're moving?
Yep.
Very
It's
cool.
kind of like a quick job, but it's got to be done. There's no other like real opportunity time to do it. So, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And probably by mid to late January, I will be in Colorado.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Dang. That is
the
just
pod
around the
gets here-
riverbend.
Yeah, like booked it last night. The pod gets here tomorrow morning and I just start shoving boxes in it.
And then they deliver it there? Is that how it
Yeah,
works?
so basically, they bring you like a shipping container or like a half-size shipping container and they put it in your driveway and they're like, okay, fill it up.
Mhm.
And then they come and pick it back up and they take it to wherever you want to go and deliver it there. And then you unload it and they come and pick it up again.
How long do they give you to load it?
I have 5 days.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Nope. Pretty easy going because it's not like a lot of stuff. It's like mostly just the furniture that I want to keep, which is like my bed and like the side tables and the dresser and then like my computer desk and computer chair and all of my books and bookshelves, and that's it.
Cool.
So, and I've
Nice.
learned by now by packing up all of my books several times now that I buy the smallest boxes possible and then just fill them up however many there ends up being, because when you're carrying them back and forth between like your house and a moving container or a moving container to your house, you don't want to take big boxes.
Oh,
Yeah,
it adds up. It adds up.
So I
Smaller
got the
the better.
smallest ones. They're like 12 by 12 by 16. And so I was like, yeah, this is perfect. You know, it'll fit a decent amount of books, but it won't break my fucking back.
Get like what are those little trolley things?
Yeah, Dolly, definitely.
Dolly. That's the word.
Gotta go rent one from Home Depot when we're done here.
Oh, that's cool. I'm excited for you.
I'm excited too. Oh my God.
So are you going to be still streaming and stuff from Colorado? Like, what's your plan once you get there?
Yeah. So I'll still be streaming in the mornings and stuff. I got to like figure out employment and all that other kind of stuff, but there's some pretty cool gigs. Like I know some people out there. And one of the opportunities that I'm looking at that sounds really interesting to me is being a QA person for a brewery, but not like making sure the beer tastes good, but like more specifically for the yeast. So making sure that they're like healthy and all that other kind of stuff. And what's really cool about that is that like the undercurrent kind of passion of my life has been microbiology since I was young. I fucking love all things microbiology.
Cool. From
bacteria to fungi to viruses, and etc. And so it's just really cool to just have this like entry level job that sort of tangentially touches upon that, because like I'm just really interested in it. So I think it'll be fun.
Cool. That's awesome.
Good for you.
Yeah. And, you know, Colorado actually pays people to work, and, you know.
Plus there's mountains.
Yeah. The mountains are great. I had such a good time when I was out there touring ahead of the move, just like waking up and seeing it. You're just like, God, man, that's tall. I live in where it's really flat. You know, there's no elevation in Florida. So
that's cool.
It was wild seeing them. They're so big.
I couldn't live where there's not mountains. Like we've just grown up with them. I've gone to like Saskatchewan and stuff. It's awful.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of Bill Murray and what about
Bob?
Yeah, there's nobody here. Like it's just
I'm all alone.
Yeah.
Starts running zigzag down the street.
It's so good. Oh, that's cool. I'm excited for you. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. The coolest thing is like living somewhere where there's actually fucking seasons again.
That's cool really too. Cool. Now that you have a date, like it's done.
Yep, I will be there. I'm excited.
Very awesome. Sweet.
Cool. Good for you.
What about you, Ty? What's new with you? How's your week?
I have a nose.
Oh, hey, you don't have the package on you anymore.
I have a new nose again. I'm on my third nose. So far, it's working quite well.
Last week, BK, he had the big thing across his face bandage because he had some nose surgery. So it's all, you got to take that out. Did they take the stints out?
They took the splints out. Yeah.
Splints out.
They were sutured right in there. And so I go in and, it's so weird when someone's taking something. I always hate it. So if for people like this isn't gross, but still it might make a couple people squirmy. So, you know, put like a little 5-minute skip ahead or something. But
just click the button.
It's
down
always
below.
Weird when when it's always odd when part of your body needs to do that extra stretch. Now, I know people give birth. Okay, I'm not like, but I
this is kind of the same thing.
I didn't choose to be a guy, so just give me a friggin' break. But when they're like taking the splints out of the nose, they're way bigger than my nostrils, and so it just, you know, it feels like they're just tearing and ripping apart. And I'm like, but you know, they just are healing, right? And the splints were rubbing against like the cuts that were being sutured together already in the whole process. So, but anyway, I didn't have to have packing, which was nice. I could slightly breathe through my nose while I had the splints, but now they're out, and they worked on 3 different aspects of my nose to help me breathe again. They fixed my septum. There's these things that start with a T that are curved in like talons. Basically, if you pick your nose and that wall you hit going straight up, that's like the bottom of those little curved things. So they bent those all the way out. And then they trimmed some stuff on the inside too. And so it was a 3-part process to help me breathe. I can breathe. And my wife was mortified because she was so excited to be able to sleep through the night without my snoring. And she said I snored more.
Oh, no. She's going to go back to your doctor and defend a refund.
Yeah, that's right. She's going to have like a hammer under her pillow just waiting for me to fall asleep so she can fix it. But it's still very congested. Like there's still one of the gross parts. There's still lots that needs to come out still from everything that got moved around. So
do you feel any different since this stuff's come out?
it wasn't difficult to hold my breath for 10 seconds because I could breathe through my nose. I didn't have to hold my breath. When, we do the silence at the beginning of the episode.
Do it pretty good there. That's true.
I didn't have to hold my breath because normally I can't breathe through my nose. So it's like, okay, be quiet for 10 seconds. And I'm like,
Tyler's just trying not to die.
Oh, I never realized that. That's
breath.
crazy.
And then so now
idea.
I could just go like, but now, Justin, you're going to have way more editing to do because I'm going to be like, I'm silent. I'm just going to be breathing. I'm not going to realize how loud my nose breathing is. But anyway, it's nice to breathe through my nose.
Cool.
I had some spicy chips the other day and they were spicy.
Oh, you finally feel it.
Well, I can taste. Like tastes are different. Smells are different. Like my kids come up to me and I can smell their hair. It's fantastic. Like
that's really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. So I actually had the most difficult grocery shopping trip on the planet because it was kind of honestly overwhelming because I've barely smelled anything for so long and tastes were different. But then I'm like, tastes are different. And I'm like walking past all this stuff in the grocery store and I just wanted to eat it all. I actually was tempted. There's some of those people in this world is like, I'm going to pay for it. So they start eating while they're shopping. Mm-hmm. Well, I almost did that.
You didn't do it, did you?
Oh, no.
No, I almost did.
Okay,
I almost did.
Tempted. He was tempted by it.
I almost did. I always want those people to run out of money, like to forget that they spent all their money on something and then they get to the bill. I don't think
they'd care, Ty.
No, they wouldn't. But I want to see what happens. And then I want to go as I'm walking by. Anyway, I had nose surgery and everything seems to be good, but I have to do nasal rinses twice a day for 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. Not my favorite thing in the world, but it's easy. But it sucks, but it's easy. But
like neti pot or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How about you, Just? Did you have a week or did you just teleport from Friday to Friday?
We did Christmas. Christmas was fun.
It's Christmas time.
Had a lot of people over here on Christmas, so that was fun. And that's kind of it. Like the week was sort of chill. Yeah. I tried as much as I could to not work this week. So it was playing Path of Exile, hanging out with the kids, playing with toys, setting up things, taking things out of boxes.
Incredible. Holy shit.
The amount
of boxes? Don't tell me you put them in boxes too. No. I'll lose it.
But it takes a long time to take some of that stuff out of freaking boxes.
It's like they think that they're the most valuable thing in the world and you cannot steal
trying to take these like stupid Barbie LOL. I don't know what they're called, but these things, I said to Christine, like, why are there so many stupid cables and like it's a freaking doll? She's like, well, they do it so it looks that way in the package. I'm like, oh, I just wanted to take a scissors to everything. Yeah, right. So annoying. And when you think you're done, you're not done.
No,
you're not.
There's like 3 more twisties on the back again.
Right.
And you're like,
there's like little elastics that you can't even see. And
then there's that one part where it's like especially they do this a lot with superhero stuff. The plastic that they're encased in kind of wraps around the character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's so strong for a sissy like me where it's like, I'm going to break the character trying to push him out. I'm like, no, my kid's been looking forward to this for 3 months. I can't break it. It's the most stressful time in the world for a parent. For parents that have the opportunity to give. Sorry.
Every time my kids bring me up one of those things, they're like, can you take this out? I'm like, oh, you have other toys. Like,
I'm too tired.
Go play with something else right now. This is going to get me angry.
Okay, that's enough.
Be excited about this later.
But yeah, no, it was a good holiday. We had a good time with people, and then we've got a big party on whatever day New Year's Eve is, so that'll be fun too. Are you guys coming?
It's about soon days away.
About soon days, yeah. Are you guys coming, Ty?
I want to, but
you got family, right?
Yeah, not sure what the situation is there.
Cool.
I'll try and break that ice shortly.
I have some stuff for you too, Ty.
Okay, we're coming.
I forgot I was going to drop it off beforehand, but I forgot. But Santa came by the house for you. Look at these. Hold on, let me see if I can do this. If I get my camera to focus.
Yeah.
Little
Look
pens
at that.
with
I see it. That's
Forever
awesome.
Exiled Christmas.
Hell yeah.
And then notepads with the logo.
Very nice.
Logo official.
And finally new.
Oh, sweet.
That's
whatever
awesome.
these things are called. Booklet things. I don't know what they're called.
Notepad?
That's awesome.
I don't know. Notebooks?
I wish we could do our own store. That kind of stuff's fun, but
yeah,
our store sucks. We can make cool stuff, but Teespring's the worst.
I should ask. I should ask Santa how they figured this out, because it always confuses me when I get them.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Justin. That's very kind of you. That was the most confusing thing. Let me read this WhatsApp conversation. Let me load WhatsApp.
Oh, it's going to go a while back. It wasn't that hard. All I said was Santa stopped by the house and left some stuff at the house for you. And Tyler assumed I meant his house, and I ignored him because I was busy. And then eventually we got to the fact that it was in my house and I would drop it off later. But that is essentially what I said was Santa stopped by the house and left you some stuff. And Ty
he sent me a picture of the stuff that's gift wrapped, right? It's on the floor. It's gift wrap. And it says Santa dropped stuff off for you.
Yeah.
That's past tense. It doesn't. So I'm like, Santa dropped stuff off for you. So I'm like, oh, you jerk. You didn't knock. I go outside. I'm like looking at but the ground's wet. It's soaked. Like you can't leave just gifts on the ground. I'm looking around like it's
like I'm coming to your house on Christmas Day.
I don't know. You said Santa dropped stuff off for you. What am I supposed
at my
to
house?
Think? No, well, your key words are missing.
Listen, if I'm going to send you a picture, it would be of your house or something.
And then I said, tell Santa thank you very much.
I wasn't reading
but
your
I can't
messages.
find it. So then I'm like, how's your day going? And then you're like, good, man. So thanks for, clarifying.
I missed it.
Tired, but good. Yeah. Okay, good. And then, how are your kids enjoying the morning? Blah, 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 blah.
That's exactly right.
And then I realized that the picture that you sent that has the pictures, you're in socks and it's on carpet. There's a slight stretch of carpet underneath the gifts. And so then I'm like, oh, it's at his house still.
Yeah. So that was it.
Yeah. You're a tit.
Sorry, I gotta go into detail when I send you messages. I forgot. But anyway, it was, the week was good. It was fun. I played some PoE.
He was able to sleuth it out though.
He did figure it out. It took him a minute, and then I think he followed up with
freaking minutes. That was pathofexile time. I now went from doing a 15-minute map to a 25-minute map, thanks to you.
Christmas morning, you were mapping. There's no way you were mapping. You were...
Maybe I was.
Jollying it up.
Maybe I was on D&D mode, which we wish pathofexile had, so that I wouldn't be hassled by people like you.
They do have D&D, and I see someone at your door.
Hey, love.
Me and Oliver are in the big bedroom, and we can hear you through the vent.
You're in my bedroom?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All my swearing?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm not swearing.
But no, really, we can hear you.
I'm an idiot. I waved, and she can't see me.
Do I sound like Darkwing Duck when he's rumbling?
It still counts.
Like Harry.
I was like, hi. Wait.
Did you finish getting ready for the day?
Yeah.
Nobody can see me.
Except.
Rude. I'm just kidding. I was waiting for the headset to get on.
I don't know what you're keeping in or not, but my kids like to play in our room, the big bedroom we call it, and they're saying they can hear me through the vent quite clearly.
That's awesome.
But I sound like her favorite stuff is all slapstick humor. So when she watches Darkwing Duck, her favorite parts are when he's like grumbling because of something, or in Home Alone she just loves it when Harry grumbles all the time because he does that nonstop once the trap sequences start up. And so that's what she says I sound like. So she was very excited to tell me.
That's awesome.
What were we talking about? You
good weeks all around, and exciting for BK moving. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's what do we got this week in PoE, Ty?
Well, you're gonna have a lawn in Colorado, BK?
Depends. We'll see.
There's
a couple different places that I am considering, and if I can get so I'm getting a short-term Airbnb because like I'm putting in applications to places, so I'll be there for like a few days, and then because I don't want to move into a place I haven't toured.
Sure,
that feels like a really bad way to get into a shitty situation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a couple that are available right now, and there's one that's kind of like downtownish, and it's really close to a park where I can walk the dogs. So awesome. I wouldn't, and it's great because it's not a lawn I have to maintain.
Nice.
The city does that.
Sweet.
All right.
All I have to do is show up with my poop bags. So
that's awesome.
That's going to be the ideal situation if I can get into that one. Cool. That, and it's right downtown, lots of cute little shops and everything like within walking distance. So excited.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. That's it for Lawn Talk then. I got nothing.
It's going to be their problem, not my problem.
Yeah, that's right. That's awesome.
Very nice. Cool. So this week in PoE.
Cool story, Ty.
So this week in PoE, not a lot happened. The PC didn't get any patches. Console did, but they just caught up to C. Console community is super mad because there's Remember when we were playing F1 the other night and I was on drugs and I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing? And normally you like to watch my broadcast when we're racing so you can see more of what's going on in the race. And I turned on PoE and I had about a 3-minute wait time to go.
Your load was crazy.
Yeah, it was long. And that's new to this league. No matter which console you're on, like the Xbox, for example, has the dumbed down version of an Xbox and the more powerful version. And that was on the more powerful version. It's the same no matter what. And so the console community was quite frustrated that wasn't addressed in the latest patch, that there was no console specific stuff at all. And that some paid tabs like the gem and flask tabs still aren't working with controller support properly. You can't view your top line. You know, there's some pretty big things, especially for things that are paid for that.
Wait, you said controller support. Is that also on PC with regards to those two
controller
tabs?
players, unless they play both. I have no idea how many other people are like me where they play both. But yeah, controller players wouldn't know it is on controller support on PC as well. But yeah, it's on console. But there was no acknowledgement at all about, hey, sorry about this. We know it's really inconvenient, or we know you paid money for these and they're not working properly. We'll get to it. The flask and gem tabs not working is 2 leagues old now.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize.
And yeah, and you can't you literally can't view the gems or flasks on your top line. You have no
Only
idea
the top
what
line.
They are.
Weird.
Yeah, and it's a very poorly set up system how it functions by default. And the descriptions of the gems or flasks a lot of the times goes over top of where your cursor is supposed to be anyway, so you can't tell where your cursor is. And so the whole system's just unfortunately garbage. But because there's been a lack of acknowledgement for it, the C post in patch notes for console, it was just like crap.
Sure.
Yeah, but you know what? I in this case, I totally get it because there's
well, your load was crazy. Like
it was.
And
it
that was just
literally
your
3
hideout.
minutes. Yeah,
just
it
the
was.
hideout was
That's
crazy.
just a load screen. Oh my goodness. I thought it was like a queue or something.
No,
Just
he
from-
just sat
wow.
there in a load screen to get to his hideout, and I was like, "Are you what's happening right now?" And he's like, "No,
Once
this is this
you
league."
load past that initial one, are you generally fine, or is it like every single time you go somewhere, it's just ridiculously long load
If
screen?
I've been to that location and it's that same instance, yes. So typically with the hideout, it doesn't reset instances. If I go into a map, the first map does take a while. The second time I go into that map, because I'm not dying, I'm trading, is because it's a lot faster.
Okay.
Right.
So
Wow.
That sounds so annoying though.
but then
Holy
the next
crap.
time you start a map, right? But I
It
mean,
was really long.
it's really annoying in Delve because Delve will restart its instance. And I get like it needs to
that's
do
true.
that, but
Right.
Delve all of a sudden starts doing a thing. I'm like, crap, a load screen. So I go up and I make myself a cup
coffee.
of coffee, come downstairs, start a movie with my wife,
Yep.
you know. So
do your taxes, balance the checkbook, and then you can
Right.
load in.
Yep.
yeah. So, I mean, that kind of stuff gets fixed. Unfortunately, these are the types of things that happen when these are the kind of fixes that get postponed when you have a very big release just before Christmas.
Holidays, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Come out with 100 new gems and this and that. And it's astonishing to me how much works. I think but at the same time, you have to expect normal stuff to go wrong too, like there's been, and now, you have to wait. Luckily, none of this is breaking the game. Like they used to
it's
go
just
on
annoying.
vacation and things would actually just not be capable of functioning.
Sure.
Right. Like I remember in standard, their free respecs weren't added to the game for 2 months into the league start. And so I remember blowing like 150 regrets one year. And there was another time when there were certain skills that were just crashing the game, but it took 6 weeks to get it done. So they're definitely far from that. They're not like that anymore. So at least there are things that people just need patience on, which is nice, with the exception of the tabs. So yeah, that was for patch. There was the creating the Affliction lore, a development story came out. Did either of you have a chance to go through it?
Well, I read it right before we started, which is why I didn't know who the Ezemites were. And I was not feeling good about not knowing that, just marking down Tyler's cuff.
There'll be a few more.
Oh, I'm aware. I've already got a big list. It's longer than most. Yeah, so I read through it real quick, but I also don't get lore. Do you know, this is the first time I read this and I was like, the colors are the same as Harvest. Never clued into the fact that the wisps were the same color as Harvest.
They're
Never
called the same things too. Wild, Vivid, and whatever, Primal, or that's what the juice was called back then too.
Never even looked at it. Never even thought about it. I read this and I was like, oh. Well, to be honest, my first thought was like, are they?
No, this is clearly wrong. I'm right. My memory's pristine.
I'm not really sure. But yeah, so that is as far as I read. It's cool to see the lore stuff, but I don't know any of it. I literally, every single part I read, I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't know who that is. I don't know what Esmiri is. I don't get what Ezomite is. I didn't know that Harvest was the same color, but cool, because I know people will probably like that stuff. It's not my thing.
Yeah, I always wait for the Kit and Kat Noodle video to come out about the lore. And then I just listen to the lore. I'm like, oh, that's pretty neat. I would have never made those connections.
I still need to watch those, but now there's so many.
It's going to take a while. Listening content. Good listening content.
Just put them in a queue with the rest of your podcasts you listen to, and then all of a sudden they'll show up at some point.
I'll just start listening to it. I need to just put it on when I'm in the car or something.
Yeah.
Do it. Yeah, I think that stuff's really cool. I love that they have that attention to detail in Loreland and that it goes through that kind of stuff. I still wish that they chose a different color for the world. So, a different non-teal color. I started discovering that there's even parts of the environment that are like glowing exactly like wisps, but they're like little butterflies or like little lights that just hang above the ground.
If you do the altars, if you do the blue or the red altar, you'll get part of their color in the background. If you have burning ground on the map, you'll have that. Yeah. And the blue is very similar. Somebody said in our Discord, they were like, oh, you could just adjust the color profile and blah, blah, blah. If I could, man, I would do it in a heartbeat, because sometimes following those wisps, I was playing with Josh a lot this week, and there were multiple times we were going so slow, being so careful. All right, let's max out this wildwood. We're going to get all the good stuff. Right. We get to a spot and we're like, what the fuck? We were just following yellow. Where did it go?
Where the fuck did yellow go?
Yeah. And yellow's easy. How did we not see it? Right. So yeah, I wish that it worked a little bit better, but
the blue ones are very hard to see.
The blue's awesome.
They are. It's really frustrating because there's so many colors in the world, but they I appreciate suggestions like that for sure. But I'm the kind of person where I'm not changing my TV screen, on console or my monitor for one game. Like, my whole family uses the TV for so many different things. I'm not changing the colors.
Like some crazy contrast and some nutty thing, and all of a sudden you go to do anything else. You're like,
Bluey
what
looks
happened?
so weird.
Yeah, that's right. Bluey's yellow. What the hell?
Are we cheering for the blue team or the blue team?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or I guess in this case, teal or teal. So yeah, that kind of stuff's really awesome. I love it when they explain stuff. Obviously, lore fans are going to freak out about this kind of stuff if they didn't already catch on. But I also really like it that they explain things in a way where they're not offended that you don't pay attention to the story or the lore. Like the game's designed to ignore the lore and to own kind of like I always reference the Dark Souls games because that's what introduced me to this kind of storytelling. But the game's designed to completely ignore all aspects of the story if you want to. Mm-hmm. And then if you want to, you slow down and take the time for it. So I appreciate posts like this where it's like, hey, this is for so many of those players that don't like to. Here's 5 minutes. Check this out. And Justin's like, Ezomite.
Harvest?
You mean the words and the colors match?
Incredible.
Tricky. But yeah, and it's kind of neat. Like Justin, you've heard of the Ezomite shield and swords and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I just don't know who they were when they were talking about like, oh, we talked about doing it as this, but it doesn't really fit. I was like, meh. Could have fooled me.
Let's see. Did you guys get your free mystery boxes
for signing in on Christmas? I did.
Get anything you like?
Nope. I got boots.
I got the when you use an alteration, something happens, but I don't know how to apply it. I have no clue where you're supposed to put it. It does some like blue thing whenever you use an alteration.
Oh, cool.
But I don't know how you're supposed to use it. So
gotcha.
That's it. What'd you get?
Nothing that I would have remembered. I just got a couple skins.
I love the doors.
What?
Yes.
So the doors they added part of the box are like different doors to different like areas that are normally on like the waypoint navigation, cool, yes. But you just click on the door instead.
Yeah, 100% getting
those. When they go standalone next league, when they release them, I'm totally getting like the delve door. I fucking love it. It's so cool.
That's right. I remember seeing that last week.
I can't wait for the timer. Like I'm liking the practical things. I have a cloak from whatever package ages ago that does like a kill count, consecutive kill count over a certain amount of time. Love it. I'm probably never going to take it off. Right? It's always because I love the stats. Can't wait for that. Justin, you have it. The timer, the map device that tells you how long you've been in a map. I love it. Justin does like the most uber content. He's like, hey, you want to come clean this up? Pick up my scraps? And I'm like, yeah. And so I'll go in and, he's fantastic. And I'll look and it's been like 7 minutes, right? For like the most uberest of maps of blighted maps. And it's been 7 minutes. When
gets out, it's been like 30.
Yes.
It's awesome. I'm going to go cook dinner. Here you go. Come clean this map up.
And then, well, part of that, my filter, I have things bigger than I want them to be in text size because how a filter looks on PC is totally different than how it looks on a TV.
Sure.
The resolutions are totally different. And especially when you're sitting on a couch, having like a 25 or 30 size something is really small. So anyway, things are bigger. So then anyway, things stack like mad. But then also like I know 100% that I'm doing that map before I invite someone in to clean up my scraps. That's a 30-minute map. No problem. Justin comes out and that timer's 7 minutes and I'm grumbling like my daughter likes Harry doing I'm picking up these Alex like, thanks, Justin, 7 minutes, whatever.
The first one I did with Josh, he was like, I have to turn my filter off. This is awful. He had to go and like redo his filter because the drops
if it's
this
not
leak
strict
are bananas.
enough,
Yeah. So so free mystery stuff, sales, and there was a hideout showcase. Up yours, and thank you to all the people that are amazing at hideouts. And Crip Arian interviewed Jonathan this week, but I haven't had a chance to see it. It was about an hour and a half. And the unofficial or official person to get what's the name? Talkative Try, I think the YouTube channel is. They do tons. They go through all the Path of Exile 2 stuff. They're super stoked for Path of Exile 2, so they're going through everything. So they did a condensed YouTube video version of it. If you only have 30 minutes to spare instead of an hour and a half. But I haven't had a chance to go through it yet. But there's something that actually there's something that came up this week on the Path of Exile 2 Reddit that I'll bring up in lieu of this instead. That kind of conforms to your point that you have about Path of Exile 2 hype. Anyway, that was this week.
Was their interview all Path of Exile 2 related?
Yeah, it was just questions from both Crip and the community, nonstop Path of Exile 2.
Nice.
Yeah. You know that it wouldn't be Path of Exile 1 because even at ExileCon, remember when Jonathan was all excited about flasks being used for specific circumstances and he didn't even know that Path of Exile 1 had already been doing that for over a year. So you know that he's not going to be there for any PoE 1 chat.
That's cool. I'll probably get updates from you. I don't know that I'll watch it just because I think I mentioned it a couple episodes ago. I'm just not into Path of Exile 2 stuff right now.
Yeah. Well, this would be a good example. On the PoE 2 Reddit, Negative Frags says
that's Jonathan, right?
Yes, it was. Is responding to somebody talking about what's up with PoE Mobile. And Negative Frags responds with, mobile is taking a bit of a backseat at the moment. Don't expect to see it until well after PoE 2's release.
So can I just respond to that?
Go for it. Yeah, of course.
Which is fine. Take as long as you want, do whatever you need to do. But this is exactly why I don't like talking about PoE 2 is the fact that I feel like some of the times we're told stuff that is like excitement, hype, blah, 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 and then turns out not to be true. I don't care about PoE Mobile, but they also told us, 3 months ago, whatever ExileCon 2 was at, that they were coming out at the same time. So that's why I don't know. Some of the times when I hear them talking about stuff for PoE 2, I'm like, it's already changed, which it should, obviously, since 2019 or whatever, since the first ExileCon. But the stuff is just not consistent. It's changing all the time. And so I find sometimes if I'm hearing about PoE 2, I get maybe a little bit excited. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's not that, or it's going to be longer, or it's going to be this or that. So
right. So you'd rather just wait until it's in your hands than try and follow the ups and downs of all the dev cycle stuff. And is it a feature? Is it not? Is it getting canceled? Is it getting canned? What's going on?
2 weeks before, 3 weeks before the official beta release, we know this is the date. Then I'll get hyped for it. I'll get excited, want to read about it. Right now, Ty, we've talked a little bit about, he's done the PoE 2 Reddit and we've talked about it a bit. I'm not super interested because I just feel like some of it's still going to change and it's getting your hopes up or your frustrations up or whatever it might be towards something that could very well be very different by the time it actually comes out. So
Yeah, the stuff I really like to follow are just some of like the decisions and the explanations of those decisions with some of like the gameplay things that they've done for PoE too. But as far as like feeling hype for it, like until beta is like there, I think I share your feelings in that regard, but still kind of like witnessing secondhand, like some of the nuances when they talk about like, oh, well, we thought that this should be this way because of these reasons. Like, I still think that's kind of cool, but like, I don't think that really builds my hype. I just am curious about it, you know?
Yep. For me, it's what I've said in the past is it's a struggle. If I hear something I'm excited about that I know is not going to be a part of anything until PoE 2, then it's harder to play PoE 1 for me. Because I want to hear about the PoE 1 stuff. I found the announcement this for Affliction was super frustrating. It was such a waste of time hearing about all the PoE 2 stuff in the beginning for me, just because I'm not playing PoE 2. I got to play PoE 1 until for the foreseeable future. Who knows? Right. Hopefully it's June or July, but realistically that's probably not the case. But who knows? Maybe it will be. So yeah, I mean, PoE Mobile, I was actually talking to Camille just a little bit ago about PoE Mobile, and he was trying to hype it up, and I was like, yeah, but I don't play a mobile game anyway. He's like, yeah, me either. I'm like, well then shut up. What are you talking about?
I took the opportunity of that post to say what I wish the mobile game would be like, as opposed to what it currently is. Like, if they're completely putting it on the back burner, like it says well after launch, like if they're just putting it on the back burner to the point where maybe they could even restart it, I threw in my 2 cents for what I wish or hoped the game would be like, which is not a dumbed down version of the game we already have. Like almost like a different. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, if it's anything like what it was at the Exile Con, which I don't actually know if Exile Con 2 was the same version as what people were playing at the original Exile Con. I don't know why they don't just put it out. It's a mobile game. Like, first off, who plays mobile games? And mobile games don't have to be perfect. And especially if you're not doing paid stuff in the mobile game. Like, if you're doing paid stuff, then okay, maybe, but they're not doing. That's literally why people release mobile games. They make boatloads of money. So if that's not their focus, then just put it out. Let people do something until PoE 2 is coming out.
Yeah. My request was that they make it different, kind of like an AFK looter. You know what I mean? Like, your character doesn't die. They just wander around, but while you're gone, they fight and they level up, and then you come back, you go through their loot, right? Based on their loot. And of course, there's still a skill tree that you can go and level them up with. And then, you discard their loot, sell stuff. They just keep on wandering, and every time you come back, it's just they keep leveling up, and you just keep editing their gear, something like that. Something that's actually different than the experience I'm logging into to play when I get home. Because I, as a player that actually plays Path of Exile, I'm not looking for a dumbed down version, even if it is something that I can take with me while I'm on the road. So that was just my 2 cents, my preference. And so I took the opportunity to say that. And one thing that I am enjoying about the current state of the Path of Exile 2 Reddit is I know it's being read, whether they agree with me or not. I'm not, but considering what Jonathan replies to on that Reddit, it's like he's reading and considering every single word that everybody types. So that is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. Did you guys play a lot this week?
Tell us about your League launch, BK, and all your thoughts on Affliction.
Affliction shipped way overtuned.
Surprise!
To the surprise of absolutely no one. It shipped super out of tuned. I have a little bit of trouble with this league too, because like now that we've kind of figured out how to min-max it and how to like kind of make it really beneficial to interact with, those first couple of weeks were just like really weird, because we go from a lot of these changes that they've done to the end game and to the way you play Path of Exile in general, between the Atlas tree, etc., of like really high player agency. Like, if you love certain mechanics, you can use your Atlas tree, scarabs, etc., to just like really focus in on them and have like money making strategies that work for not only you as a person and your temperament for certain mechanics, but also for your build. Like, if your build's better at certain things, like I play a lot of trappers and they're not really clear focused, but so I can pick mechanics that are beneficial to my playstyle as a trapper. And then all of a sudden we get this league where it's like, I don't know, wander around a forest, pick some shit up, come out. You have no control what it buffs or what monsters it touches or anything like that, and it just goes everywhere. Good luck. And so like the whiplash sort of from like a design perspective of like, okay, here's all this agency to it's the fuck it league where, I don't know, fuck it. This is what happens.
It really is, isn't it?
And so that was kind of like weird at first. And like, so now, of course, we're a couple weeks into the league. Everyone's got gear. It's not the problem it was, but certainly at launch, I felt really alienated from like the league mechanic. Because like you go to points where like, you know, I had close to like 2 to 3 million damage, like right within like a few days. Like I'm not some giga leveler anymore or anything like that. But like I was pretty proud of the damage that I was doing. And there are essence monsters that I couldn't kill because they would just get triple empowered. And I'd be like, all right, I guess it's just that. Or, like you brick certain maps and stuff like that. And that doesn't feel good like during the progression period of the Atlas when you're trying to fill everything in to like brick something because this one map with your last vow that you needed to corrupt for your completion triple empowered the boss and now you can't kill it.
Were you doing the Wildwood and red maps?
I didn't know. I stopped pretty much in yellows. Like I hit like tier 10 and then had an essence I couldn't kill and was like, fuck it, I'm ignoring it until they tune it down.
Yep.
And so it's like it's such a weird mechanic too, because like obviously the super valuable stuff is the stuff that's coming from the vendors and the bosses, right? And everything else is kind of like just this idea of quantity and drops and otherwise that comes from empowering the wisps. And so like I feel like it's really narrow as far as like the way it interacts with the existing systems, as far as like your end game is usually just doing this super juice strategy. There's no other creative way of doing it or utilizing it or otherwise. It's just like, this is what you do, craps out lots of currency, good job. And I kind of wish there's more variations to it, you know? And yeah, I guess the thing that I like, it's just so weird because they wanted you to have some sort of delayed access to these vendors so that you can't just go in there and like print these charms all the time. But they're also really, really important because it's like the major thing that the league provides you. So there's just like this kind of, I feel like there's a step missing somewhere in the league mechanic. I feel more like I'm playing a gameplay demo than I am playing a league. Because there's like all these little pieces and parts and then like they're connected by follow the wisps.
And because of how it's tuned.
Here's a boss. Here's a vendor. Here's a harvest thing. Here's this. Here's that. But good luck. Have fun.
And because there's no middle ground with how it's tuned, a lot of the times until you have your character beefed out, you're just running past stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just follow the wisps and then you're out. And then, like you said, hope you can still do the map.
Yeah. And I get frustrated because like I want a map in there. I want to see like where I've gone. Like if I run into a vendor early, trying to backtrack and find the vendor again is the dumbest fucking thing in the world. Like when I run past a vendor, it should just put like a symbol for the vendor so that I can at least come back to it easier. Not like run in circles because I've done circles following the one color wisp I needed for that particular vendor. It's not like it's going to be at the end of a path, right? Because sometimes it loops around.
It loops. I've never felt more lost sometimes than being in a Wildwood, being like, I saw
like I know she's fucking in here, man.
I don't know how to get back there. Yep.
And the fact that there's no mini map in that Wildwood when you're in co-op even is insane. Like
you go in different.
You can't. Well, yeah, but there's no direct line back to the person. You're like, how did they get over?
We got around that with drops. So I kept an Exile in my inventory. That if I found something and I wanted to signal to Zay, who I was leveling with, that there's like I found a vendor or something, I would just drop the Exile like 2 or 3 times to make the sound.
To make the noise. Just follow the sound.
It would make the star on the map for the Exile.
That's funny.
And that's how I was like, hey, it's here.
Gotta leave like a bread trail.
It's like exactly like the bat signal.
That's funny. That's funny.
Now, how's your build and start going, League aside?
Everything's going good. The character is nice and powerful. I like not at the top end of what the character is actually achievable, but I'm happy with where its progress is as far as like the playtime that I've been able to put in so far this league. And hit 99. I'm gonna go for 100. I'm gonna try and do. I don't know if I'll get 38 challenges done, but I'm gonna try and do a little bit more this time. At least get the base set of armor. Because the last, I'd say year and a half, I don't think I've gotten more than 12. I used to be the person that always hit 36 or 40. And then that took a bit of a oops moment. So we'll see. I'm enjoying it though. But what I'm enjoying isn't really Wildwood, right? It's like the gym interactions, it's the new shit, it's all that kind of stuff, like the tinkering. And like I have always loved the Forbidden Flesh and Flame gyms because of the way that they can reach across different ascendancies and kind of build your own sort of thing. So the charms are like just another sort of iteration of that same idea. But instead of being able to go across different ascendancies within a class, you can go across entire classes. So you can pick up like Hierophant stuff if you're Shadow and all that sort. And I think that's really fucking cool for build design. I know like most people are just going for like reserve stuff and like the top 3 things that are obviously really good, like AoE with power charge or like the reserve percent and that kind of stuff. But like really tinkering in with some of it, it's really neat as far as like the way that you can round out certain defenses or just kind of like augment your characters. And so it really kind of makes the game feel like it used to a long time ago, where like you could still do weird kooky shit with different characters. Like you could have a spellcaster berserker, and like not saying that you couldn't do that now, but like it was, I guess some of the decisions and some of the power that came from stuff was a little bit more spread out so that, you know, certain things made sense. And yeah, it just feels kind of like when before, if you wanted to have like, oh, I want to play this, this, and that, and it's like a weird combination, like you can make it work because of the charms and the Forbidden Flesh and Flame and the gear that's coming out of the league and everything like that. And I just think it's cool.
Yeah, I like the charms too. That's a nice tree. It's the only tree that interested me. I did like the idea of the purple tree because you could actually do a build around the purple tree, which is unique for something that temporary, but you could actually use that as your primary sources of damage or characters mechanics. So I did appreciate that, but the other ones didn't interest me. I found one of the charms I found was your movement speed can't be below base value, the jugs thing. So I put that on, and from that point forward, there was not much else for me to tinker with because that's just too good to be true. So I've been enjoying that quite a lot. I'm glad your build's going well though.
Yeah.
What is it?
I'm just playing Explosive Trapper, which is par for the course. If it's a Trapper Mind build, I'm usually playing it, but I'd never done the dual convert fire to cold Secrets of Suffering version of it. So you turn your chill and freeze and ignites into Scorch and Brittle. And, you know, it's an ailment called Brittle. I have to play a Brittle build every once in a while because, you know, it's called Brittle. And yeah, Explosive Trap got a couple different gem changes with the release of the gems. It got the Shrapnel version, which is like big AoE. So like it actually can clear now, so you can map with it and it doesn't feel horrendous. And then it got the Magnitude version of it, which is pure fizz. And I hadn't sat down and tinkered with it too much, but I kind of want to see if there's some, you know, conversion shenanigans that can be done with that. So that'll come later. But for now, I'm enjoying it. It's this version of it has been around for a while, but on Sab, but now it's Trickster because Sunblast came back into the equation. Sunblast is a belt that makes your traps don't trigger anymore. So they just explode at the end of their duration. And Sunblast allows you to throw 2 extra traps. So it gets around the fact that multi-trap support and cluster trap support are garbage and have huge less damage multipliers on them. But because your traps don't trigger, the Sabo Ascendancy is kind of dog shit because it's all about like trigger radius and traps will trigger an additional time. And so you get nothing from that. So it's actually a trickster. And I love tricksters, man. Any excuse to play a trickster, I'm there. So I was like, Explosive Trap, Trickster, sold. Like, I didn't even have to fucking think about it. I was like, all right, done. That's my league starter.
Cool. Nice. Did you find it somewhere or did you do it yourself?
I found it on PoE Ninja. I was like, just looking around trying to figure out like, okay, how do people league start Explosive Trap these days? Because a long time ago, you used to get I can't even remember the name. I think it was called Ashrend. It was a cloak, and I think it got changed when they did a bunch of the unique redos, and it used to have like added fire support, I think, to it. Like all Sakura gems are supported by like level 10 added fire support or something like that. Okay. And so you just need a 5-link to have a 6-link. It was super cheap, lots of good damage, and early boss farming kind of just isn't really a thing anymore. I mean, it is and it isn't. But where you used to be able to just like farm out at Ziri and stuff like that, it's a more casual player who wasn't pushing like pinnacles on day one. Like you could make a little bit of money doing some early boss shenanigans, and that's just not really something that is profitable anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Kind of wanted to play it anyways.
Nice.
Good for you. Fun per hour first, and then all the fun comes. Yeah, it's awesome. Good for you. I'm glad that your fun per hour is an efficient way to play. Because I could tell you about zombies. Oh, and the fun per hour doesn't last very long.
Did you do the falling ones?
No.
No? Oh.
No. Because I don't like zombies in itself, like what zombies are. I just love the idea of a permanent minion that, you can have quantities of, and they follow you around and just hit stuff. Like that's what I like. So I wouldn't care if they're tree ants or sticks or zombies or snowmen. I just like the idea of permanent minions that follow you around like that.
Having an army.
Yeah.
What about the new specters then? Are those exciting or not really?
Yes and no. I like the idea of specters. I hate how GGG does specters. It's really frustrating to deal with the corpse and specter system if they die. Dealing with league content is always extra frustrating when you're playing specters because, as we've mentioned, it's quite overtuned. And especially with this league, there's just some situations where like my minions would normally never, ever, ever die. And they would, in this, because it's league content and it's new content, they're getting wiped off the map. And there's so little you can do about it. So, so specters in that regard, like I love the idea of specters. If like specters in PoE 2 really excite me. They, you assign a specific enemy base type to a gem, and now that gem is always that base type. Specters will be a huge interest for me then, but now I absolutely hate them. I even hate them as supports just because of how annoying they are to deal with. They almost never die on my other builds, but when I do core like league content, that's to me the experimental stuff. I kind of stay away from specters. So it interests me, but then I also like, I'm not typically a league player. I like core content. So I normally plan my stuff around core concepts, core builds. If I really like it, I want to be able to play it next league as well. So we'll see.
How's your week of PoE been?
Well, why don't you tell us about your week? You've been silent for so long.
I don't mind.
All right.
Tell me, buddy.
Well, the triple Reaper skill is just
you still on that?
As poorly balanced as all the other Reaper skills, but I love it. Like it does such weak damage for a minion skill that cannot be supported by almost any other typical minion support. You know what I mean? Like frenzy charges or other specters or anything like that. Like, we've talked about in the past, the Reaper consumes other minions, so there's not a lot of options available for it for the typical boosted damage sources. And so I'm surprised how little default damage it does as a result of that, but I still love it. And the triple Reaper gem is fantastic because it doesn't have the manual dash and it doesn't have bleed. So they're just like zombies in that way where they just stay around you and they hit stuff. There's nothing for you to do except for make sure that they're alive. Cool. Except normal zombies lost their AoE, and it is so painful, even for me as a slow player, to watch my zombies just hit one thing once over and over. And it's so frustrating because GGG doesn't have their minion system down. They haven't for years, but if you actually watch a minion that follows you, they stand around so much. Like no matter how much movement speed, attack speed, cast speed you invest in them, there are moments where that minion's AI just stands there and does nothing. And of course, that stuff's not calculated on like a POB DPS or anything like that.
Right.
And so it's just so like you're already disappointed that there's no clear speed because the AoE is gone and you're staring at them and they're just like smack, smack, smack. I mean, I have movement speed on them. I have a lot of investment into them and it's just so painful. So the triple Reapers are nice because they have their AoE still. So it's enjoyable to watch them clear and go through stuff. And I'm enjoying it so much. But it's tough because now I'm like moving away from zombies because the default zombies are changed and the AoE is just, it's too important. The game takes forever when everything's just strike skills, like a single strike. Even phantasms aren't that slow because they pierce. You know what I mean? And they just go through the whole screen type of thing with one hit. So anyway, so my point is like I'm doing an experimental build here. I'm seeing how this feels with that and that. Do I go with brutality? Do I go with poison chance? Then do I go with whatever the necromancer ascendancy is for gaining unholy might? Or do I use it so that offerings impact me instead? I'm going through all these other options and I can't make up my mind. And I'm like, well, what's my new minion going to be? It can't be zombies. Zombie sucks now. So what's it going to be? Because I like the permanent minions. Well, I'd love it to be specters, like BK suggested, but I hate having to deal with specters in PoE 1. Maybe it's golems, maybe it's Reaper. Do I go poison? Do I try and get back into curses? Skeletons have always been really powerful. And the Val skeleton is so difficult to ignore. SRS, it's an old favorite of mine. I don't like the play style, but I mean, it's always really strong. Do I go spiritual lay? Do I go minion stability? Of course, because phantasms are turning into one of my favorite skills. Got to try and include that. So my brain is all over the map. I don't think I've had the same build for 3 maps straight. I'll swap in this
kind
6
of cool, I guess,
it is
in
fun.
its own way. Yeah, like the
I mean,
tinkering sort of stage. As long as it's not annoying, it can be a really fun time.
Well, I mean, it'll be a lot more exciting again when like the development of Path of Exile 2 is there, because what they're promoting for the quality of life with gems and all that is directly feeds into the type of play that I'm doing this specific league. Like I'm swapping out 6 links, but I have to swap out 6 or 5 out of the 6 gems every time I want to swap that out. And then how, like, I'm leveling side gems, so I got to unhook. I got to swap my gear, but if I'm doing it mid-map, it's scary because that's where 5 out of my 6 reservation skills are. Then I'm like quickly turning them back on, and I forgot to, it's chaotic, but it's fun. But it's funny because like I've been swapping all these ideas back and forth, using insane amount of regrets and trying all this different stuff. And I never remember which version I liked more than the other. And then my mood changes, and then I'm actually in the mood for poison, or I'm like, I don't care about poison now. Now I'm in the mood for brutality. And so I'm all over the map, but this is still the most that I've ever played a league. I don't think I've ever bothered to play a league this long. So I don't think on PC I've ever hit 92. I don't know if on PC I've ever done like a 10-way Maven or done the 2 other pinnacle bosses, the Eater and the Searing or whoever. Like on console, of course, that's normal, but I don't think I've ever bothered to get to this point on PC. So it's been nice. And the encouraging thing for me is that I have untweaked builds, I guess you could say, because I keep trying these different ideas. The build's not min-maxed for that one specific idea that I'm committing to, right? Everything's generic and not apathetic, but it's not designed for one specific thing. I'm keeping things generic, therefore not as efficient, so that I can swap around my ideas. And it's been easy experience. My damage sucks, and that's the one thing I'm trying to keep. Like I'm standing there, I'm tanking everything. I almost never ever die, which is wonderful. And I'm like, because I'm doing an experimental build, I'm intentionally standing in really stupid spots and stationary to see what I can and can't take. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it. It's just it's tough because I'm trying to find that one build that I can go back to over and over, and I'm discovering it again because of the zombie changes. I gave zombies their chance, and I'm throwing zombies in a lot. I'm like, are they going to live through this? What's their damage like? Am I just being a baby about, them losing their slam skill and all that kind of stuff? And I don't think I am. I think they went from suck to super suck. So anyway, I've been having a great time though, and this week was good. I didn't get to, as my in-laws are staying with us for the holidays, and I didn't get as much time to play as I did last week, but it's good to socialize, good to visit. So yeah, I had a good week. How about you, Jess?
I did play a lot. I played a lot this week, and I had fun and not fun. So I BK, I mentioned last week all your help with me figuring out my build and trying to do different things with it.
It was fun to tinker. It's been a long time since I did anything with Scourge Arrows, so it's kind of nice to get back into it.
Well, I was saying to Tyler last week that it was it's been a very long time since I've had that fun of trying to figure things out. Normally I understand the builds quite a bit better, but this was in a very different direction than I've ever played. So it was fun figuring things out and working with you on trying to figure out how I could get different things into the build. And the build worked great. I finished all of the content. I did the Maven. I got all the Void Stones. I did all of the Maven invites. Like it worked great. It was really strong. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to start, I tried out the Abyss stuff. Let's start juicing these maps, playing with the Wildwood. And I don't know if sometimes it's just my expectation of a build or the way I want to play, but I think it's the thing that sometimes burns me out of PoE. So first off, I started playing just the way I wanted to. I'm going to set up the Atlas, do what I want. Then you start seeing people talk about these ideas. And I'm like, okay, well, let's take a look at what this is. The Spires, the Abyss, the juicing these maps up. If I get into the idea of Sextants and Scarabs, like religiously, I am done with Path of Exile. It always does that to me. Within like 4 or 5 play sessions of playing where I have to trade for Sextants, trade for Scarabs, focus on making sure I have all the right stuff. Oh, it kills me. It's just, I lose the fun so fast. Like I get that people love that. Like that's the thing. But like I was listening to some people that were playing it, and I looked up some of these ideas on YouTube and watching. Again, I don't know if it's just because they're content creating and so they do it for that, but listening to them talk about spending a few hours prepping, just shoot me in the head. Like, no, thank you. That's awful. Like trying to like trading for Sextants is awful. Yep. Trading for Sextants is one of the worst experiences in Path of Exile. One thing I did learn though from someone, I wish I could remember who it was. I didn't know that you could like swap Scarabs with Harvest. So I actually did start using Harvest, which I hate Harvest, hate it.
Yeah.
But you can use the purple juice to like just swap Scarab. And I was like, well, this is awesome, because then I'm not going to trade for Scarabs anymore, because I was trying to
all
like
the ones I don't want into the ones I do.
Right. And it's worked great. So Scarabs are fine. Sextants, I've just stopped using them because I tried trading for Scarabs and for Sextants, it is awful, man. Because first off, you have to already have Awakened Sextants to trade. And people don't want chaos, they want Awakened Sextants. So then
I go to sell stuff and I'm like, okay, well, how much is this worth? Everything's listed in Sextants. Nothing's listed in chaos anymore. And I'm like trying to sell a unique, or I'm trying to sell a divine, and I want to list it in chaos because I don't want, the divines or anything. I just want the chaos. And I'm trying to find on the trade site what things are worth in chaos, and it's all Sextants. It's like this divine, I don't see too much of that, but 150 Awakened Sextants or something. Like it's
really,
yeah.
I wonder if that's just a setting thing. But man, trading for Sextants is just, it's awful. It is the least amount of fun I can ever have. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to put in the Abyss. I'm going to try the Spires thing, but I'm not going to go with it and be super whatever. And I did have a lot of fun. I did a lot of playing it with Josh, but I was getting very frustrated. Like we talk about the thing coming out overtuned, and I agreed with that. Was my sentiment in the beginning, way overtuned. Well, I think it's in a better spot now when you have like a boatload of gear, which I'm not sure is fair, but that is sort of where it's at. It does become a little more doable. Man, when you boost up a tier 16 or a tier 15 map, there are monsters in that map that can sometimes be that I've done every single piece of content in the game, and there are some rares that are like, I'm fucking
scarier than Exarch. Yeah,
like I've had it now where the stupid like crawler from Abyss comes out with always crits, triple empowered. I literally log it, like go into the portal and I just try to move real fast, and it's like on top of me dead. Well,
I love
maybe I'll try it a different
Everybody
way.
knows when you're trying to say on top of me dead as fast as you can, exactly what that feels like.
That's what happens.
That's how fast so annoying. It is.
Yeah. So I got really frustrated. So then I was like, okay, what's my solution? Maybe I need to figure out something with crits. And one of my problems when I start to get to this direction with PoE is I went from, okay, this is a build I like. I worked on it. BK helped me with it. I've got it in a good spot. It's working. I'm going to try something else. That never, ever goes well for me, because what happens is I don't have time. So I just go like, what do people play? What are people doing? Man, no offense to people who do YouTube videos, but fuck, they're awful. Like I need to pay more attention when I watch people do a YouTube video on like a build, because I go like, well, that looks reasonable. That looks fine. I pull up their POB. Okay, that looks all right. I don't know what I'm missing or what is handicapped in my brain, but I feel like I can do exactly what they do. And I am either a limp noodle or something's, there's some mechanic that I'm missing, or it's like you have to have had a headhunter. You have to, like, there's just so many different things. Like there are jewels in this game, which again, this is on me more than on anyone else, but that have like multiple types of modifiers that can roll on them. So a unique jewel is not just, hey, get this unique jewel. It's like, oh, you need this unique jewel, but it has to have rolled with this specific things, modifier. Yep. And in this specific things have to line up. It was exhausting. It was very frustrating because I went from like, okay, I can do everything except I'm getting really mad because 1 out of 7 maps or 8 maps is just, I'm hitting a wall against, but all the other ones are fine and whatever. But that was enough for me to get frustrated. And I was like, all right, I'm going to try something different. Man, did it go poorly.
I'm sorry.
Ty, you were talking about something about in standard buying like a bunch of regrets. I bought 400 regrets for a divine. 440 or something regrets with a divine. I've almost gone through all of them. I literally two times fully respect my tree.
Oh my goodness.
I had 120 points. I was like, what am I doing?
Why didn't you just restart?
I'm not. Josh said the same thing. I'm like, no, I'm not starting over again. I don't want to play another character. I really do like Pathfinder. I like the idea really of Pathfinder. Mm-hmm. And I had so much fun with the build that I started with that, you know, that what BK helped me build this one up. I felt really good in that play style. I just got frustrated with something that it's funny, Ty, we were talking about this a bit ago because you were bitching to me in a message about crits. And I was like, I don't really ever feel crits. I feel crits, man. When I'm empowering a mob and it doesn't matter what defensive layers I have, these things one-shot me. And it was so frustrating to be like, I have so many mechanics that should be stopping a one-shot, but it's not mattering because of the crit.
Yep.
And it's really, I found it really hard to try and find a counter to that. Like I've said this to many people listening. If you're listening to this, you're not doing this for the information or to learn some of Path of Exile. It's because you like listening to 2 idiots. I don't know Path of Exile well enough to understand stuff. Sexy idiots. That's right. I don't know it well enough. So I'm going, okay, what can I do for crit? So I start looking things up and, it's like, well, you could change to Solaris. And I look at that. I'm like, okay, well, Solaris doesn't actually help me on the first crit. And that is killing me instantly. That helps me for subsequent crit. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out like, what can I do for crit?
Belt modifier for Crusader belts to do reduced damage taken from crits, and then a mastery in the crit tree if you invest.
I saw that if you poison them too, like if they there were things that I looked at, but the problem was
kind of like puzzle piece. If you
have to figure it out,
yeah.
And I had already felt like at this point I was really tight with how I could maneuver now. Like I'd really tried to like min max this build, and so to all of a sudden have to shift or figure out some way to fit something else in.
It gets tough because then you have to start to sacrifice damage, and you're like, well, I don't want to do that because and then I don't get crit anymore, but then I don't have enough fucking damage to kill him either.
Yeah. So I made some really bad decisions. You're on the east
side of the tree? You're on the green side?
Well, I am on the green side. I did. So I found this one guy's build because at this point I was like, whatever, let's see what people are playing. And again, the content out there is great. I'm sure it works for some people. I just need to pay more attention or get better at deciphering. But I did this one dark Pathfinder build that did take advantage actually of the purple tree and the new ascendancy. It was crazy. I had like 20,000 HP, and the idea behind it's very cool, but not my playstyle at all. It was awful. I have in this last week probably bought and sold hundreds of divines worth of gear. Like I'm like, no, that didn't work. Now I'm going to sit around and wait for this to sell. I did keep my original gear so I could at least keep playing with that, but and now I'm trying something else, and I want to go back to where I was,
the happy
and just
times.
Suck up the crits. Yeah, like I wish I had just been like,
well, you can tinker
Justin,
with
you're gonna
it.
die.
If you send me PoE, we can try and figure out how to get some crit reduction in there. Probably not 100%, but probably can get 50 to 60% rather easily without too much sacrifice, depending on what you're using as a belt.
Well, that might the unique belt, but it wouldn't. I guess the thing that just got so frustrating is that it was my own fault. I had built up these mobs. Then you're playing like super buffed Abyss. It was a really tough line for me though, because like Abyss spires is the big deal. You need these spires to fire everything out. But if I'm running my options for if I was doing cemetery, which is, I don't even know why people say do cemetery. So I'm like, okay, I'm an idiot. I'll do whatever you say. Yeah, my options are tier 7, 15, or 16. Tier 7, I struggled so hard not to kill that stupid spire. I even took the Atlas passive to give mobs 50% more health and 25% less damage, just trying to make it. Because when it comes up with totems, I'm like, all right, run away and spam 6 totems over here to take them away. But, you're tight on mana and blah, blah, blah. Then you go up to a tier 16 and it works. And then sometimes you're just like, what the fuck came out of that spire? Like, there's like 700 of these like crawler things, and
they're all going to kick my ass.
I'm a Pathfinder. I should be able to run. I can't run. There's nowhere to go. Like, they're faster than I am. So
just use the mini map. Oh, wait.
I got really, I hit this spot where I was like, I can't find a sweet spot of what tier map I can do where I'm not killing the spires too fast. But then I also eventually get to a point where I'm like, why am I doing this now? Like, my whole focus right now is it'd be fun to get a headhunter or mageblood to drop naturally again. I've had them both once before. It'd be fun. I don't need the currency. I don't, in that case of where my build was at, like, I got so freaking lucky with some of my stuff this league, like Curse, Valley and Crimson Jewels. I think I got 3 or 4 of the Rain of Splinters, and one was a 33% one. Like, I got really lucky with a lot of my gear this league. But yeah, I wasn't really sure what I was doing it for anymore. Like, I couldn't figure out what the goal was besides maybe I'll get a headhunter or mageblood. But then for some reason my pea brain dies one time to a crit, and I'm like,
fuck everything, fuck this. Imagine you just like flipping your table. Just like,
it was funny because I did have that reaction when I was talking to Josh, and then when I tried the next build, he's like, so I was doing tier 7s because that's all I could do. He's like, so how are the spires now? I'm like, no problem. I'm tickling them. I can't even do damage. It's just like the complete opposite side.
Problem.
That's fine. I won't die, but I also can't kill anything. Like, if stuff gets regen,
that's it.
I'll just chill. I'm here.
That's awesome.
So it has been fun. I still feel like the league mechanic Affliction itself is in a weird spot, and
it needs some more tuning or some sort of, like, I don't know. The two things that I would do immediately is like the leave early button. So like, if you don't want to push it, I want a leave early button, and I want a just kidding button. So like, if I go through the forest and then I don't want to empower my map, I can be like, just kidding, press the button, all the wisps dissipate into the forest, and I get to leave my map without getting fucking murdered. It would be a cool
idea.
Those are the two things that I think would do a lot to help everything.
I would also like to know how much wisps I came out with once I'm in the map. Like, how much did I buff it up?
Keep that heads up display there. How much have I?
Something would be nice there.
Spread my seed everywhere.
It, where your map modifiers are on the right hand side, anyways.
Anywhere.
Where it could be like 250% vivid wisp empowerment or something like that, where you could see
just
like,
something.
The stuff that got
because you don't know anything once you leave.
Yeah, and even the mobs are like vivid empowered. You're like, cool, bro. I know exactly what that means.
Yeah, this is going to go well.
And then they'll add a feature so that controller support players can hover their mouse over a thing to find out what the information does.
Yeah,
that's a controller support big. Because everything's all about hovering, and they don't ever consider what a controller player is going to do about that.
I like the league mechanic. I like the idea of it. I love the ascendancy side of it. I've now played with all 3 of them. I think they're so cool. Like, what they've done to add to the game and change your build around. Like, I think that part's really cool. That being said, man, when I went the purple route, hold on.
I waved again. God damn it.
Yeah, you did.
No, nobody asked about today. Oliver was asking about the weekend before and which days we could and couldn't. We're going to hang out for a day. We're not going to do any video games right now.
Asshole.
Wow. Unbelievable. No video games. Riot. Fire this man.
Let me just mark this so I can get back to where I was at. 117, 119 back. Okay, so I went the purple tree route, right? Which is, it's literally like a blood magic route. Like, you're not going to have any mana, and it was cool. I had tons of HP, but when I was like trying to switch back, it was really hard. I did realize eventually that you could just respec those points to pull those points out, but I went into an area going like, I'm going to kill myself. I don't know how to I'm trying to use a different skill to try and get back to something else.
Right.
And I couldn't do it. No. And so I really like what Affliction's done with those ascendancies. I think the idea of the Wildwood needs to be tuned a little bit with how it works. And maybe it's just a me thing, but I'm a little bit disappointed that there's so much less end game. There was nothing end gamey to this, and I was kind of hoping that there would be. Like, there was nothing. Like, the end of the Atlas and the end of the stuff is still the same, and I kind of expected more with a beginning of the year, like brand new core
like
packages
the actual
out.
end game would change. That was what we were thinking.
Yeah. Like, the core is really cool. I really like all the new gems. I like all the new stuff that they've done with that. But I just, when I finished the content that I normally would finish, I was kind of like, there's just nothing. There's nothing more. And for me right now, the more is just to farm more maps. And because I just don't like that process of like building things and trying to get all the sextants and doing all this stuff. I want something I can just elk and go. I have to get back into that mindset that we've joked about is the fun per hour, is stop focusing on like, how do I min-max this Atlas experience and my mapping experience? But I also want to still have fun. So
I think that's one of the reasons why I like Simulacrum so much, is because I don't have to do all the sextants and stuff. And I just like put the thing in, I do 30 waves, I get a bunch of shit, I'm happy, put the next one in. Because I'm the same way. Like, when I have to start trading for sextants and scarabs and everything like that is when I get bored too, because it's like, I don't want to fucking trade. Like, I like trade because I like the idea of being able to access certain uniques and other gear that I can't craft for myself in a timely manner. But like, I don't totally like trade for all of that bullshit, you know? Like, I'd rather farm something else or buy something like Simulacrums where I can just like sit some, you know, like maybe I generate scarabs and stuff on my own, and then I eventually come together to do a strategy like that of like my own farming where I've like gotten it, all of it gathered up through other gameplay methods.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with it, because I am definitely like that. I just don't want to trade for the stuff to be able to do maps. It's not enjoyable for me. I burn out very quickly, and I realized that again this league, that when I started to do it, I was like, well, fuck this. I'm doing this for 3 maps. Like, and I got to do this for every 3 maps for a sextant, or maybe every 4 if I'm buying a 4-use one. Yeah. It's so exhausting. And then you're trying to figure out, like, was that worth it? Did I make any currency back? Like, how am I, which I just don't have the proper mind for that, because these guys, a lot of people do it where they plan out like the next 40 maps. I don't want to do that. What if I don't want to do it in 10 maps? Maybe I want to do something different. So
it's just that's my favorite part about the Atlas too. Like, even if you do get to play like 4 hours a day, like, are you really going to spend that much of it trading for it? No, you're going to play the fucking game. Yeah.
So the Atlas passive is my favorite part of PoE, because it's the thing I can very easily fuck around with. And if I don't like it, I change it. Like, I always have fun in the Atlas passive tree. It's my favorite part of the game. And it has still been this one. I have jumped around with everything. Like, it's fun with still trying to maintain this whole abyss idea. But I don't know. It's fine. I think the end game's interesting. I think things are wickedly expensive right now. Like, it's weird to me that things have gone so up in price. I would have thought,
I think because of the amount of just divines that are being dropped right now through these super turbo farming methods. We had a similar issue. Like, remember how cheap exalts were in Heist? Because everyone had fucking exalts for days because of the trinkets. I think it's just a situation too where it's just like, we're pumping the market with tons and tons and tons of exalts, so everything goes up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's crazy. When I looked at some items for the build that I ended up just stopping, I was thinking originally I'll throw Progenesis in here. At the time it was like 45, 50 divines. I was like, all right, cool, I'm just about halfway there, that's no problem, I'll work up to it. But by the time I got close, it was like 70, 80. I'm like, well, that's not happening. So yeah, I do like where the core is at. I love all the new gem stuff. Affliction is very cool. I love the ascendancy side of it, but I just don't always like what it does to my map, and that was what I was most excited for. So that's my long version. Sorry that took so long.
Don't be. It's sorry. Always good to chat. Can I tell you what I do for crits?
Yep.
That makes crits very because I hate how the game deals with crits. And it was nice a couple years ago when it was a wraeclast episode where they all of a sudden got on the topic that there's like no difference in an enemy's actions or visually that tells the user. It was nice for them to bring that up, that a crit was coming. It was the exact same action motion. It was just a surprise if something was going to be a crit or not. And some people are fine with that, some people aren't, but I don't like how crits work in this game, and so I've always worked on that's one of the main reasons I'm on the left side of the tree so much, is because of the easy crit protection. But there's that one notable called Sanctum of Thought, reduce critical strike, extra damage from critical strikes by 30%. And then there's an armor mastery that's the same thing, taking 30% reduced extra damage from critical strikes. So that's 60%. And those are typically nodes that I'm already going for anyway for the armor, right? Mixing and matching the two. If you went out of your way for it, in the curse mastery, there's where's curses?
Yeah, that's the right side of the tree. You have to do it through curse mastery and crit mastery to get the 60, and then you get the other 40 from the belt.
Yeah, so then you take 40% reduced extra damage from critical strike by cursed enemies. If you're going that route, that sometimes that's out of a way for some builds, but then that's already 100% reduced extra damage. But then if you're not going the curse mastery route, there's all strength based shields have a normal suffix that can roll up to 60% reduced critical strike damage. Extra damage on crits. So you can get 100% reduced damage that way, and then it doesn't matter if they're crit, and you still get the benefit of being crit, but you don't take that extra damage. It's just a normal hit. So then stuff that's still applies from the Pantheon, when you've taken a critical strike, this or that doesn't happen. So you still are crit, you just take 0 damage. A lot of the times, if I'm not getting that roll on a shield and I'm only reduced by 60%, right, from Sanctum of Thought and then the armor mastery, what I'll do is I'll equip, I forget which banner it is. I think it's Defiance banner. And that reduces crit chance by 40% from enemies.
I wish that I had paid more attention early on during the build that I was enjoying playing to the enemies you poison can't deal crits. I'm not sure how I missed that with my Scourge Arrow one, because I feel like maybe that would have helped. I'm not sure it would have helped so much with the like just instant these things come out and just beat the shit out of you. But with the Scourge Arrow, everything was poisoned. Like it was
so it was,
the screen clear was awesome, that it would have probably been helpful. And I'm not entirely sure how I missed it. I didn't actually see it until I started working on a third build, and I was like, it was right fucking there.
Oh, that would have helped.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I still have all the gear for that guy, so it's possible that I could go back. Like I literally had one mastery that I had not picked anything on, that poison mastery. I was just pulling up my tree. I was just chilling there, doing nothing.
That's hilarious that it's right there.
I had the one poisons you, inflict, deal 20% faster damage, but the other one was just sitting there empty with nothing. So I didn't know that until right now. That really sucks.
I don't think, I literally have not played a poison build since Assassin Scourge Arrow, like back in 3.9. So I hadn't even looked at the poison masteries.
That was the only thing that was frustrating me with this build, was the fact that I couldn't do the 7
point.
I know I could very easily fix that now. I don't think I sold any of the stuff from that, so I probably could. It's just sitting in a tab. But
time to go buy another 120 regrets.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot more regrets. Yeah, we'll see. I still like the tinkering side of it, but I need to stop. I told Josh last night, I'm like, I'm not going on YouTube anymore. That was a mistake. That cost me so much currency trying to do stuff. And I did it because it was doing stuff I didn't understand. I have not played Pathfinder in forever. I haven't played the right side of the tree in forever, so I don't really get it.
And all of the above has changed a lot since then.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to, like, the mastery stuff that you missed, but there's so many amazing mastery options on that side of the tree.
Yeah. And so because I haven't done it, I was like, well, let's see what other people are doing, which I know it works for them. I know it works for people who are following them, but for me, it didn't. I need to focus more. Maybe I need to read these things more carefully, and I should have just tried to find more of a way to make mine work, because the content was good. It was so good. Like doing like the Mavens and all of the Elder and Shaper and the two of them to get, like, it was really good. The damage was awesome. Survivability was great. It was just these stupid crits from these stupid wispy flea-bitten crazy four-legged mother effers that came out of that abyss, man.
Watch your mouth.
They were animals.
Mister.
It was ridiculous. So, well, maybe I'm going back then. Now that I know that I was one
considering
effing
the
point.
fixed build is just 1 point. Yeah, it's not even like re-gearing or respecking or having to change out certain things. It's just 8 point.
But was crit the only issue you were having? Being crit?
Yeah, like the only time I was
if you go back and you protect yourself from crit, was there anything else that maybe you're forgetting that was also frustrating you?
No,
before you
like I was
back and spend it all.
No, the only thing that was frustrating me was the damage was too high to do the tier 7 cemeteries, which was fine. I was like, no problem. I'll do the 16s or 15s. The only thing that was frustrating, but again, this is just build related, is when you try to do altars can be very difficult based on your build. Like if I was doing the blue altars, if I got the whatever it is, percentage less defenses per frenzy charge, I may as well just kill myself as soon as I hit that button.
Right, that makes sense.
Like there's certain things that if you're not careful about with the altars, and I've had it in the past where I've had builds that were just like, oh, click whatever, it doesn't matter. This just wasn't that, but that wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't a big deal. I just had to be careful with how I use some of them. But there was nothing killing me. I was not I could not believe how like leveling from 95 to 97 was so smooth. I don't think I've ever manually leveled a character to 97 ever. I've always gone into 5 ways or done something else.
Carries and such.
Yeah, this was like so quick. Not necessarily so quick, but it was just smooth. There wasn't instances of me dying or, the losing 30% of a level because of some stupid thing. But as I started to try the 15s and the 16s and these abysses, it was always that an enemy had always crits. And the blue wisps with increasing crit chance and crit multi, they were bananas. Like I couldn't believe that through all of the defensive mechanics I had, I was instantly dying. It was driving me crazy. So yeah, well, that is good to know. Would have been nice to should have waited until this episode.
Like shit.
Oh well, what's regrets? Anyway,
I mean, appropriately named, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get that bumper sticker. No regrets. No regrets.
Right across my chest. Anyway, anything else? Anybody? Are we gonna wrap this up? Save some stuff for after dark?
I think we should.
Sounds good to me.
All right, sweet. BK, you're gonna join us? Yeah.
Absolutely. Gonna make the pisco sour.
Oh, the picture of that last one was good. Yeah.
Yep.
That was awesome. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. 221. Thanks for hanging out with us, BK.
Thanks for having me.
And good luck with the move.
Yeah, very good luck.
Yeah, I gotta go shove stuff in boxes until it's after dark time. That's
awesome.
what I'm doing today.
Share lots of pictures, though.
Yeah, boxes.
Very exciting. This is what it looks like when there's
exciting.
5 stacked on top of each other. Now here's 4 more.
Perfect.
There's stuff in them.
It's exciting.
That's
Listen,
right.
On
some
this
people
one,
care.
I wrote
Okay.
on a black Sharpie. This one I wrote with a red Sharpie. This one says
Perfect.
books. This
That's
one
right.
says kitchenware.
Ooh, kitchenware.
I know. Spice
I
it up
hope
a
the
little
vehicle
bit.
driving
That's
your
right.
pod gets in an accident.
Wow, that's all my
Rude.
life things. How could you?
No.
I'm crushed.
Let's wrap this up.
Should have been excited about taking pictures.
Patrons, we'll see you in After Dark. Everybody else, we'll see you next week in 222. Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, AK Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
And I'm Brittleknee.
And that's a wrap because I can't think of what to say now. No, more information. PK's information is down below. You'll find that as well as all the other things. Our website is foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. We have a very fun Discord. Join that. Patreon, other ways to support the podcast. You can find them down below on the website as well. Now we're done.
Okay, bye.
You did it. Thanks, BK.
Yeah.